All right, boom. Oh man, it is early. I went from bam to boom. Here we go. So
Different location this morning.
yeah, we're on site here at CrossFit Livermore. I thought I had it all figured out until I forgot the one cord that plugs in my extra monitor. So we're rolling with
Perfect.
one laptop. For some of you guys that don't know, Sevon is traveling today. So I'm taking over the show for him. We brought on Tyler Watkins here with us. We're gonna have Dallin Pepper, Kevin Ogar, and we're just gonna pump up the open. We're gonna see what they're up to, what's going on. I'm excited to talk to Dallin because obviously he's gonna be doing the 25.3, which nobody knows what that workout is, so it's gonna be nuts depending what pulls out of the hat. And then I'm stoked to talk to Kevin Ogar. There's lots of different stuff going on with the adaptive division, so we'll dive into that. And I do believe he's doing this workout with Roland Rolo, meme for time, if you guys don't know him. So thanks for doing this with me, dude. Thanks for hopping on and being my security blanket in this.
Absolutely. I don't do anything anyway. I just sit here all day waiting for you guys to put me on a show.
Yeah, that's right. Just on standby, twiddling your thumbs.
Just sitting here.
So Dal will be jumping on with us at 6. It's early. I'm here at the gym. I'm gonna be taking right off after we finish this show and walking right out there and working with the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Academy. I figured I'd
Bro,
just make it easy.
You're busy.
Dude, it's nuts. Yeah, to say the least of it. Oh, dude.
I gotta leave here. I'm gonna be late, and I'm gonna go sit in a forum all day, and just sit there.
A forum. That sounds amazing, dude. What I saw you guys' show last night, huh? Lots of little rumblings happening in the CrossFit space, yeah.
Yeah, I left that one thinking I might have got myself in trouble a couple times. It was good. That was a big show. There was a lot to talk about. We hadn't had that much to talk about, I think, since last year. It felt like,
Yeah,
there's just a ton going on. The sale thing was a big thing, and then we didn't get into it till the end. Thank God that you guys prefaced it, but WFP's affiliation stuff, that
yep.
was. I wish we had more time to get into that, but we don't really know anything, so.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole thing with all of this, right? Like nobody really knows anything. Hey, you know what else is weird with about the leak with this workout coming up? Do you think that was like, is that real? Is that a real leak? Or do you think that was like a distraction at this point? And here's the reason why I asked is because everybody kind of knows the movements, right? But like there's still big missing elements that I know that I haven't completely heard of, like whether it's a AMRAP workout, whether it's for time, like what the time domain is going to be, like, unless you know all of that. Do you know all that?
No, it was crazy because I kept hearing there was a leak. I think I was like everybody else. I kept hearing there's a leak, there's a leak, there's a leak, and then but I wouldn't hear the workout. And then I finally heard the workout. I think there are two main theories. Of course, both of them, if you know me at all, they're going to be conspiracy theories.
The best theory.
The first one is that HQ leaks these on purpose. And every other year, there's always been at least one leak. Well, in the past 5 or 6 years, there's always been one leak, and it gets a ton of shit stirring, and it's kind of a good thing. Like, and I think I got wise to that like 2 years ago. I was like, okay, like there's a pattern here. This keeps happening. There's no way this is accidental. But the way that this year is different is that every single workout has been leaked. And like we were talking about it with John last night, John knew, and then he didn't tell us till the second week, and you could tell he felt bad about knowing them.
Yeah.
And so, and like he was bothered that it was all of them. If it's one, it's cool, but if it's all of them, it's sort of an issue.
Yeah.
And then so I think my theory on what happened this week is that it kind of got back around that somebody was leaking all of these. And I also have heard rumors that they're leaking to only certain people, certain organizations in favor of these organizations, which doesn't make sense because the open doesn't matter for the elite athletes.
Yeah, especially the group of people you're talking about that would get a hold of them first, right?
Right. So then that's why I made my reel, which is that I legitimately think whoever was doing that, they started a campaign to just start putting out a bunch of other guesses that just blurred the lines, and then no one can trace it back.
Damn. Dude, I'm kind of with you with like the whole it was on purpose thing, especially this last one. It seems like but here's the thing too, Dave knows how to work the media a little bit. Like he's not afraid to lean into something where a lot of people, I think as soon as a leak or something comes up, they get on like the defense or like they try to just go cover up style. And I think Dave just leaned into it and was just like, yeah, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm not going to confirm. So then all of a sudden in the back of your mind, you're like, wait, was that on purpose? Is he going to change the workout? Did we have the information wrong?
Say
So it
there
wouldn't
is a
surprise me if
leak.
it's on purpose.
Say there is a leak. And you're Dave. Let's pretend Sousa is now Dave.
Yeah.
Um, do you care? Like, how do you handle that situation?
I think I handle it the same way Dave does. I don't know logistically what it takes to change the workout, even like a small nuance of it. I imagine it's a big undertaking because they have all the PDFs and all this shit that they got to roll out afterwards. But if I was Dave, I would do exactly what Dave's doing. I would just like lean into it. And then I think he had this kind of look of like disappointed dad when he was like, "Well, they got out," you know? And it's
I
kind
mean,
of just like, okay.
particularly, like, how do you handle the leak within the mole? How do you handle the mole? Mole.
Oh, I do shit. I do Elon stuff. You remember back in the day in PayPal? I don't know if you heard this story, but they had people leaking information and they didn't know which department it was, but they kind of had like an idea. So
You
they
just fire
sent
the whole
out,
department.
dude, they no, they just he sent out cryptic emails with certain information to where if one piece of information came
Oh, he
out like
tracked
back
it.
to him, he knew
Mhm.
which department it was, and then yeah, just canned the whole thing. And so he like reverse engineered like the leak. And so I don't know. You could do something like that. I don't know if they have enough autonomy. I imagine back when Greg owned it, that if I found out that Tyler leaked it, we called you in the office and we're like, hey dude, we might reinforce this DNA. You might owe us 300 grand, but for sure you're leaving right now today. And you packed your shit and you left. I imagine now there's no way you do that with private equity. Like they call you into Net's office and like they have a sit down, they give you a write up and a warning and like
Where the open doesn't matter for the top individuals, the leak is less important than it's ever been. It's cool for us to know, but for the elite individuals, it doesn't matter, right? And so it
yeah.
sucks. And so when I'm approaching that person, that's going to be in the back of my head the whole time, like freak, I'm getting ready to get. But it is more a statement of, to me, I can't trust you
Hmm.
because this is no threat information that you have. Like, do we want it to get out? No. Is it a big deal? Also, no. But if you're gonna leak this, you're gonna leak other shit. You're done. I'm out.
Yeah.
I know that this isn't a big one, but it's a bigger statement than everything else. I'm going in full like nuke mode and ripping people out.
Yeah, well, it's the only way you prevent it in the future, right? Because then
Yeah.
everybody sees the way you reacted as like whatever, but they see the repercussions of what they did and what happened, and they're like, "Shit, I don't want to be that guy." He just stormed in the office, was like, "You out of here!" By the way, if we did have an HQ, if the locker room had an HQ, can you imagine all the internal stuff that because all this would be on film, and we'd be like, there'd be
Oh
interviews
my
like, "I
god.
know who leaked it," and then just like following you into the office to like fire somebody as we're all watching, like, "There's the dude who
That's
leaked it."
That's what happens on, Barstool. There's this killer one where Mincy they had this $25,000 contest that DraftKings was sponsoring, and
Hmm.
all you had to do was show up in Chicago, and they did, like, a live stream kinda like we've done the Spincast, where they just watch games all day, and the camera's, like, on their whole crew, right? And Mincy was supposed to gamble. Well, Mincy lives in Memphis, and there was a big game, and or Nashville, and Mincy stayed in Nashville and partied. And he missed his flight to Chicago, didn't make it, and he was almost guaranteed to win that $25,000. And so Portnoy finds out, and Mincy like comes into the office late, nonetheless, like the next day or something, like with his tail between his legs. He makes him sit in a corner with a dunce hat on, just looking at the corner. The dunce hat's like 3.5 feet tall. And he's like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing, dude? Like, you got to rep." And the Mitzi's giving this whole speech, like, I really got to buckle down, blah, 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 blah. That content out of HQ in the same way would be amazing. And
Yeah.
ours, if we did that, that would be great. The other thing that I was thinking about, you caught me in the morning. See, I never do shows in the morning. And the morning is when I'm most talkative.
This is good.
Um,
It's 6 a.m. here, so fire away. I'm like
the other
catching
thing
up.
that I think about is me being upset that only certain organizations are getting this information.
Mm.
and the optics of what it looks like if we're upset about that, I think people would be like, well, those guys get information all the time. But here's the thing. Like, you might get information, or Spin gets information all the time. He tells no one. And then oftentimes, like, we're the last to find out about certain information that comes out. And anytime we do, we tell everybody else. So I think other organizations be like, well, these guys freaking know, and they tell everybody anyway. It's like, we don't. And anything we do, we tell everybody. We don't just tell our buddies.
Yeah. And it's strategic. Like, I think sometimes people they don't use it as that information as strategically as possible.
No.
Kenneth the Lap, what's up, dude? I get paid, you get paid. Thank you. Appreciate that. Corey Leonard, you're fired. Donald Trump. Where was okay, David Wheat. He's always got something positive about me to say. Okay, stop talking. Bring on Dallin for fuck's sake. Yeah, well, he'll be here. He was coming at 6, so technically it's only like 2 minutes past. So we'll see how it goes here. Somebody else said
for him, he's just waking up.
Yeah, Philip Kelly catfished. For sure, you guys got catfished. There is no doubt about that. But no, Dallin is supposed to come as far as I know. So, oh, he texted me. Thumbs up. Okay, I'll be in a second.
I'm coming, dude. I'm coming. Chill out.
Don't. Oh, I just opened up our thread and I just saw a very encouraging text at the very bottom that says the person we're bringing on is cool.
That's okay. Sign of approval.
Sign of approval. I know I wanted to start talking about all the different stuff that we started to see. Like, I don't know if you've been following Dave's like story. Like, did you see him and Tyson Bagent there throwing the ball with Hopper and Hiller?
No.
Oh, dude, it's great. Yeah. So there's a shot in Dave's Instagram here. If I had this extra, let me see if I can bring it up. The Dave Castro Instagram. This is where that second monitor would have been absolutely clutch, because right now I feel like I'm flying blind. Like, I can't see the screen you're on. Yeah, so we're just rolling with it. I
can do whatever I want right now.
Pretty much. I have
Except for I have none of the controls of the show.
So I'm assuming you guys are seeing Dave's stories now. Okay, so this is interesting. It looks like they're all at like a dinner, and James is
praying. He's praying.
No, it looks like Heather Lawrence gave James some sort of award to present. I don't know. I just love, James. He's got like this how do I refer to it? Like this
perfect
golden
build.
well, that, but I was gonna say like golden retriever. Damn it, Dallin popped up in the corner. We had James on, and now he's gone. We may have lost him for forever, guys.
Like,
we may have lost him for forever. Okay, so here we go. This is the one that I was talking about here. Dallin, come back. Look at that.
Okay, he's lame ducking it to Jason. Jason's trying.
Jason's childhood dreams are just made in this video right now.
I wish Jason would have just ate shit right there, jumping over that.
Oh, okay, he's Dallin's figuring out his sound, everybody. Don't you worry, he's coming back. Okay, here it is. Let's see if I can get us some sound.
Oh, this is good. This is gold.
Hey, Hiller, take your fucking camera back.
Okay, right there. That's interesting, right? That's interesting. Dallin.
What's up?
Good morning, brother. How are you?
Good. Can you guys hear me all right?
What are you at, a restaurant?
Yeah, they switched this. I have like 20 minutes to eat, and then we're going to go do some media at the MVP Arena.
Hey, dude, first off, thank you for taking the time this morning. And I don't know if you noticed, but you just got catfish. Sevon's not even here, dude.
Yeah, what the
got him.
He's traveling home. No, he's traveling home this morning, so he asked if I could jump in tonight. Obviously, with you coming on, I was stoked to be able to do it. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So, dude, first off, are you stoked right now? Are nerves kicking in? How are you feeling?
Honestly, yeah, like nerves.
Really?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's the first open announcement, and like growing up, like this was it. Like, this is so cool. It's like nerves in that way, but I think it's more nerves to put on a show. Like, this isn't really about us, this workout. It's about putting on a show and showing up for the community and giving them something to be excited about with this workout, where they get to go do it the following day and over the weekend, and people are going to be repeating on Monday. And so for me right now, like, that's what I'm really trying to focus on, and just also enjoying the moment selfishly for myself. Like it's pretty cool to be able to do this, and the vibes here and at the gym have been super awesome. We stopped by 2 different affiliates yesterday, and one of the cool things that stood out during our time at CrossFit Spur during the dinner was the way the gym owner worded how excited he was for my members. The way he said that it was really cool to me, and so I'm really excited to see what the atmosphere is like today.
Dude, we're stoked to watch you go. And first off, I just want to say you're absolutely right. Rich Froning is the GOAT. There is no comparison. Okay. I don't even know what Jason and Justin were talking about there. I did respect that Justin was like, well, what metrics are we going with? You know which metrics, Justin. And that's exactly what we're talking about. It's like you're like, I'm nervous because I'm excited to do this because I've grown up doing this, but more importantly, I want to put on a good show. And that's like Froning-esque to me, right? Like you're thinking about all the people that showed up there, that are there to watch you, and you want to make sure that you guys put out for them. And that's awesome.
Like when the games come around, like, I'm nervous for me because I want to win. And I obviously want to win today. I think that's part of putting on a good show. But yeah, I think you nailed it right there.
Hey, dude, so there's something going on with the shoulder, right? Little snag, little something working through there, or?
Yeah, I think there's a little misunderstanding. Like I know Sevon was gonna try and get Colton in my spot. Like, no, there's no need for that, guys. No, so basically what's been going on is like a week before the games, I just like the front of my shoulder really tight. Didn't do any hanging or anything that like
benching too
made
much.
It weird.
You just benching too much.
I bench a lot. Yeah, so it was like a little bit naggy, was fine, got through the games. After the games with time off and obviously putting it through the games, didn't feel great. Got it ready for Rogue, was ready. You put it through a weekend like Rogue, same kind of thing. Pull back, rehab, all that stuff. And so
is that why you didn't pick up the bar when I told you to in the last event?
That's exactly why.
Shit.
Yeah. It had nothing to do with my legs or failing muscle ups or anything like that. Yeah, so basically where we're at right now is I'm feeling really good. One of the things is I haven't been able to accumulate the volume in movements that I'm expected to see at Mayhem to get myself to the games. Like I don't expect us to have to do 30 snatches at 225 today. We're doing one event today, not 6 events over 2 days. One of them, we know it's that one, and I know we're doing GHDs and muscle ups at Mayhem. Like that's not a great look for the shoulder. So just trying to. It was more of it's definitely a gut feeling. Also listening to my body and making sure I have a long season. So.
Yeah, so that's it. So it's a longevity play for you. It's not like there's anything crazy, but you're just being smart about it, thinking about the length of this season and beyond.
Yeah, and also like if I'm gonna show up at a competition, I want to be like locked in and ready to go. And I haven't been accumulating squat snatch volume, muscle up volume, like some of these things that I would like to. So
yeah,
and you're still top in the open right now.
Yeah, that's been a pleasant surprise.
Hey, do you think about that at all?
Sorry.
No. I was just gonna ask. Do you think about that lead? Are you watching the open leaderboard? Are you thinking about that at all? Tyler, we're kind of talking about how important that is earlier and stuff. Like
I was going to say, he definitely does. That's what he was talking about yesterday on Pedro's show.
If I was in 30th, maybe not, but start off strong. Two workouts, short guy workouts, as everyone keeps calling them. But yeah, so hopefully we get a rower today. Fingers crossed. That's what I've been hearing.
Hopefully.
So does that get in your head, like when you hear this, allegedly this workout, the movements have been leaked, we're unsure of the format yet, but when you hear that come up, like, does that get in your head? Are you fixated around those movements? Or are you still thinking there might be a curveball thrown here?
I mean, I'm not super fixated on specific movements, more so movement patterns. So like, I know we're going to be hinging from the floor. That's pretty common with all the movements that's been out there. Pretty certain it's going to be wall walks and then rowing. So I don't think any curveballs coming out of those 3, but I think we will be pulling from the floor and then doing those other 2. And so that's kind of what I've mentally prepared for, but ready for everything.
So is it pulling gymnastics that hurts your shoulder, or does it hurt, or is it just volume tolerance you're not used to?
It's 2 weeks ago, hanging from a pull-up bar was a no-go. A good long warm-up last week was able to get me into some pretty good positions. Still broke the bar muscle-ups, that type of thing. And then certain positions overhead. I've been really working to get some of my mobility back because I haven't been in those positions. So a really narrow overhead or even into a wider snatch, specifically with barbells.
So on the wall walks, you think you'd be okay? The wall walks are different because it loads. It's somehow slower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, that'll be fine then.
I heard there's 75 wall walks in the workout. That's the rumors
Good.
I
That
got.
would be, that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm gonna need
Checks
that if
out.
there's heavy deadlifts to beat John. So
Hey, so I was
75 would
I,
be crazy. So even some of them, some of the workouts that are being leaked with like the set of 25 wall walks in a row is no joke.
to sit there and look
Yes.
at all 25 is like you're like, oh no big deal, and then you get 10 in and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, you hit it like, for me it'd be like hit a quick 7 and then like try and understand what I'm feeling, and it's like, oh, you're not even a third of the way.
Especially if the workout doesn't end there and
That's
you
not
have to
my
get back
internet,
on the
right? That's
machine.
Sousa's.
Is it my choppy or are
Is he
you
on
good?
there?
You're good. We're all good.
Everything's good.
I
All
can't
right.
see Sousa.
You can't see me?
I think it's Dallin. Dallin's picking you up slow.
Oh, okay. I
Hold
wanted
on.
to
I'm gonna try connecting to Wi-Fi.
while he does that I want to play this here. I want to play this. And this will try to get to play when I'm flying blind here. Okay, perfect. Did we get him back? No, now he's gone. Dallin?
We still got
Dallin.
sound.
Oh, there he is. He's back. Okay.
I can't hear Sousa. Or
Can you hear me? No?
Oh, there
No?
he is. I
That's
got you.
weird.
got me? Yeah, there might be like a little low bar. I'm gonna attempt to play this. We'll see how this goes.
Because I don't watch doesn't mean I don't hear the things people say. I mean, I got my little
Can you guys hear it?
screenshot folder on my phone. I'll check it when I need to. I know what you guys are saying. I'll never be great. Oh, he's handed everything handed to him as a teenager so he can get good at this sport. The past few years, I had the goal in the top 10. I had a goal at the podium. I've gotten those other years checked off, so I don't have a doubt in my mind that I'll win the CrossFit Games this year.
Woo!
Boom.
Man, I saw that. I was gonna run through a brick wall, dude. Hey, was that the first time you've said that out loud? I'm going to win the CrossFit Games this year.
No. Me and Matt talk about it every day.
Awesome, dude. So you got what's going on? We got a screenshot folder of hater comments or something.
Oh yeah, if I see something, I'll just take a little screenshot. Some of those
I was getting ready to
days,
say, who's saying that? Because I'm the wrong person to be on the show because I've been hype on Dallin since the early days.
I mean, it could be like anyone. John Young. Let's see, 2 years ago, after the Orlando semifinal, he's like, Dallin is not as gifted as Jason and will never beat him and never be as strong as him. And I got that clip saved somewhere. Different people with like saying, oh, he just was able to work out a ton as a teenager. It's like, I cleaned the gym every single week and I ran the kids and teens program at my affiliate. Like, I wasn't just doing nothing. I was coaching, working the gym, like working online, that type of stuff. So
Yeah, and hey,
just
by the way,
little stuff.
working out as a teenager is not a privilege. We all have that option, dude.
Yeah.
I just chose to like dick around and do nothing. You chose to put yourself to use. You know, that's a different game there. I don't know if that's privilege.
Well, what's the alternative? It's like they just want you to sit around for a few years. It's like I can't start yet. I'm not old enough.
Yeah. You'll get a head start on everyone. Don't do that.
Yeah. Heaven forbid you take advantage of that. So, what have you got to meet Tyson Bagent?
Yeah, dude, he's dope. We pulled up to the hotel. He brought his whole crew, a bunch of his buddies when he was at Shepherd, and then just last night hanging out at the gym, throwing the football around, just talking. Like James had some crazy one-liners for Tyson that just it caught everyone off guard. But just a really cool dude, and I think it's going to be really fun to have him announcing a workout, being a part of the stream and like throwing down with us, and just a good dude to have around and represent two different sports, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, how's that dynamic with all of you guys there with like Tyson? I saw we were just watching that when you popped on. Hiller's there. It looks like Dave's obviously arrived there. How's that dynamic with all you guys in the same room?
I think we're all just kind of shooting the shit, having a good time, like just hanging out. We're here to do a workout, and we're in a gym setting, so everyone's just having a good time, catching up, and yeah, it's chill.
It is really cool. You guys are all like the next gen young guys that have been coming up, and Tyson is also a weird encapsulation of that too. He went to a different sport, but like he grew up doing this. I'm excited to see how they weave that into the whole announcement.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. I didn't even realize he was only a year older than me. He's 24. So Jason's actually the old man this weekend. Yeah, it'll be cool to see how they implement that. But the other crazy thing is I'm the smallest guy here for the announcement. I'll be the smallest guy on the floor.
That's nuts.
Shortest guy. Well,
I
I
mean,
guess you are technically the smallest.
Tyson's like 6'4", James 6'3", maybe 6'4", Jason 6'2", I'm 6 foot. I just
Time
feel
out.
tower over.
Dude, is this the first
Tyson
open
doing
announcement?
the workout?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm late to the party on that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's well known, but
Yeah. Yeah. And
News-
it's leaked
breaking
here,
news.
Dallin.
Breaking news for me that nobody else is.
Yeah, I believe he's going to do the gauntlet style. So I think he goes right after you guys go, right? Or is he going with you?
I don't know.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you do.
He's going with him. That's gonna be amazing. Okay, that's good because I really wanted to watch him go. We're gonna jump on and have Taylor do it after it's announced. So we'll be
it's
able to
gonna
watch
be
it. Dude, I'm so stoked. Okay, that's gonna be.
I mean, I'm
that's
pretty
gonna be
sure
awesome.
that was in the post.
Post most, you know what I mean? We just fire from the hip
Yeah.
over here anyway.
Feel your guts,
We're having
Dallin.
a
Tell
good
us what's going
time.
on.
This is the show to do it.
So who? Yes, you're absolutely right. It is. So who found out that the shower was the leak shower that Dave posted the thing from? Who made that connection?
Oh, it's so good. So Jason had done his interviews at the CrossFit Avitas, I think, and I'm there doing my interviews, and they're like, "Hey, Dave just posted this link or the hint. You want to try and guess it like right here while we're doing interviews?" So I do that. Jason had gone back to the hotel, and my phone starts like dinging and stuff, and I check it after my interview, and Grace Ann, they had just gotten back to the hotel, and she had like gone to get something in the bathroom and just looks at the wall, and then like, Jason, does this look familiar? And sure enough, it was the exact wall. So,
What?
but the
Yeah.
best part, Dave's telling us that he was actually in the shower, and he was like, "This is the hint." So he runs out, grabs his phone, comes back, splashes more water, and then takes the picture or the video, and that's what ended up on there. So our caption wasn't lying.
Dude, it's amazing when you're like, "Hey, Dave, we knew that you did the clue naked in the." I was dying. I was like, "That's hilarious," because you damn well know he was naked.
Yeah, we FaceTimed him right before. I think like the media team got that. I don't know if it was on Instagram or if it'll be part of things, but like it's so funny.
Yeah, they captured. I saw it on I think it was on maybe his Instagram or one of your guys. Maybe it was a collab between all you, but it was amazing. It was so good.
I don't think that's ever happened.
No,
Figure out exactly like, when you don't
Where
really
it
know
came
what
from.
something is or where it came
Yes.
from. It was like, this is what it is.
And he was so zoomed in on like cinematic mode that it was super abstract. Like I honestly would have thought that was like an outside fountain or something, you know?
So I assumed it kind of looked like metal grating, like a metal grate wall type thing with condensation on it.
Yep.
I was thinking like the back of a refrigerator or something. Because it was like that weird angle.
Yeah, it's like nope, just the shower at his hotel.
Nope. He just pulled in, like just arrived off the flight. He's like, I gotta post a hint.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. What did someone say? That was water on the wall.
No,
Yes.
wasn't
Oh,
water
it
on the
wasn't. It wasn't water on the wall. Oh my god. Well, Dallin, dude, thank you so much for just taking a couple minutes to check in with us, dude. We're pumped to watch this afternoon. I know I am. I'm stoked. This crew is just awesome. I wish I would be there. Before we let Dallin go, Tyler, anything else you wanna throw at him? Maybe have him leak some more information or something.
What are you eating right now?
Well, that was a smoothie. I'm waiting for eggs and English muffins.
Do you go light on days like today? Are you a nervous like non-eater, or do you give a shit?
I'm a nervous eater. if anything.
You
I'm like,
I eat more.
in my head, I'm like, if I don't eat enough, I'm not going to be fueled, and then I'll overeat and then feel bloated, and so I have to keep myself in check. Like it's only
Too
one
much
workout,
fuel.
we're going to be good.
Way too much fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Way too many trips to the bathroom.
Highlight. So last question. What will you guys do after the announcement? So when it's done, it's over. Are you just headed right back home, or are you gonna hang there for a little bit?
So I don't know if you guys saw, but me, Jason, James all did the Rogue Sandbag Challenge last month, and this month's challenge is a 5-minute echo bike.
Oh,
So we may try and round up some echo bikes.
dude. Hey, you guys have to stream that if you do it live.
Yeah,
you should just go from your YouTube.
We'll put it live, probably on. We'll just go live on all of them, and people can watch from wherever. Make sure people see it. But we're gonna try and round some up. I don't know. I can't remember if this gym has some, so we're gonna attempt that, and then we're gonna make CrossFit take us to Dave and Buster's.
Really?
On that company credit card. Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. A little rest and relaxation after that.
Dude, you got
dude.
balls to go with Dallin and Jason on the 5-minute bike test.
That's what I was thinking. Those three guys in particular. Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be
And
it.
especially when it gets
Or
into
James.
like
Sorry,
that
James and Jason.
5 to 10 minute range, that's where James starts to excel a little more. It's like that 1 to 3. That's where I'll pick James off. So it'll be tough.
Yeah.
But the guy who won, we're not touching him. Last year he got like 33 calories a minute for 5 minutes.
Holy shit! Was it just a strongman dude? Just some freaking huge
Just
guy?
big, huge aerobic guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can't really compete with that. And then how's that PS5 doing? You got any use out of that bad boy yet?
I'm level 15 on Call of Duty.
Let's go.
Is that high or low?
Not very good, dude.
We don't know anything, so I cheered
best
it. I'm like, yeah.
Dude,
what's best? What's best?
What's best?
Yeah,
I mean,
what's a good level?
We went into, so apparently you can like restart when you hit level 55. You can do that like 8 times and then go up. And we saw someone with like a level 450 in one of like the online things. And I asked Jason, I was like, he's level 450? And he goes, that's just like a badge. That means he has no life.
That means it's proof that guy's never getting laid. That's what that means.
That's the same guy who started when he was 15.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Started at the original Call of Duty. Well, hey, I was saying on one of the shows when I saw Hiller's post and you were like walking out with it. I was like, dude, you just got to stream that every time you go live and just build your online stream community.
I think we are gonna stream. We're figuring out some of those details, but just wait till you see me, dude. The controller, the same side where the trigger is where like you're looking. So I'll like get way too excited and my screen just zoom 360. So that'll be fun for everyone.
Oh, dude.
Do that. Live stream the Bussin' with the Boys. They live stream like gameplay all the time, and they get huge views.
We'll have to do it. It'll be funny. Like we'll bring people in so that like they can also play, but then also just interact with comments, that type of thing. So
yeah, that'd be dope. All right, dude. Well, hey, thanks for spending your breakfast with us, man. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it, how much I appreciate it, especially because we catpicked you and Sevon's not even here. So appreciate it, brother. Hey, we'll be watching you today at noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. your guys' time. Watch Dallin crush these dudes.
Make your picks. Pick who you think's gonna win in Heat 1. Dallin, Jason, Sprague.
Well, there's only one. I heard the other 2 buttons don't even work in Heat 1.
It's a funneled option. Oh shit.
Sorry,
right,
wrong decision.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate you, man.
Later,
Talk
guys.
to you soon. Later, bro. Heidi Krum. Is he podcasting from a cafe? Yes, he actually is. That's really cool of it. Let me just get through these. We got Kevin Ogar coming up. I'm stoked to talk to him about some of the adaptive stuff. Okay, Kenneth Delapte, I get paid, you get paid. Yes, thank you. Got that one. Jan Clark is a YouTube member. Again, I'm assuming the majority of you guys canceled when we didn't post anything, and now you're back, huh? Now you're back. Fair weather fans. No, I'm just kidding. We love you. Please sign up right now. Episode 123 is going to be live for maybe 5 more minutes. Wad Zombie, thanks. $1.99. You can watch all 3 episodes in 5 minutes. What's your KD ration on Call of Duty? Dallin? Damn it. Sorry, Patrick Clark. And it's a euro? Oh, because you're in Germany. I was like, what in the world? Okay, awesome. So next year, we got Mr. Kevin
Mr.
Ogar.
Ogar.
What's up, guys?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. It's open season, busy.
Awesome. Yeah. You guys got a lot going on. First off, just to let you know, you got catfished as well too. You got Sebon got replaced by two other dudes, a bald guy and then me here. So welcome in.
We wanted
He's
to make you
traveling
feel
today.
comfortable.
It's just as good looking, man. Just as good looking as when Savant's here.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Just as going.
There
going
we
bald,
go.
man.
Fits right in, dude. So how's that? So how's everything for you? You getting ready to rock and roll with this one today too, huh?
Yeah. We go live at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 1 p.m. Pacific, or what's that? 4 p.m. Eastern.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna try to figure out the rest of the time zones in the world.
Everybody else
Don't
goes
do
through it.
Yeah. So we go live at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, and it's me versus Meme for Time, Roderick. So he's an honorary seated 2 guy because he's been around so long, and so we thought it'd be fun to get an able-bodied person in a chair and make him go head to head with someone.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, man,
it's
I
gonna be
might
funny.
be more nervous to do that than a regular open workout.
Yeah, because Kevin's gonna mop the floor with him.
Dude, I don't know. He put out a poll asking who people thought was going to win, and I definitely voted for him. So, I'm old and retired. I get, especially during the open season, I get like 1 workout a week, and it's the open workout, and then the rest of the week I don't have a chance to work out.
Yeah.
Hey, what if he gets a little? What if he gets a little sideways, like using a little too much leg or something? Are you going to be like, hey, no rep, like there's too much leg involved in that one?
We got judges. We got
Nice.
judges for a reason.
Just whip him? No.
Games director.
Game is that me?
That's what that's you. That's what Seb. That is Seb on there. He is. He's always watching from afar. But that is the role, right? You are the adaptive games director. Is that the official title?
I think my official title in Wheelwad is head of games and sports.
Nice.
But yeah, same.
So what I was scrolling through your Instagram and I saw some different stuff with like classifications and some different things. Like, has there been any changes this year as far as new classifications, new divisions? Like, what's going on with that?
We do have a new division. So we split the ID division. So now we have ID with chromosomal condition and ID without chromosomal condition, because it was really hard and unfair to the athletes last year to try to get them to compete together, and we did the best we could, and I think it still kind of played out well, but they needed their own divisions, and so we have 16 divisions this year instead of 15 like last year. But the classification system itself hasn't changed. We did get a new platform for it, so we had to have pretty much everyone get their information back in so we can keep it all in one spot and keep it safe and all that kind of stuff. But the actual overall classification system really didn't change.
How do you decide that? Like you were saying, we went from that division to like opened it up or gave it its own classification. Like, as you're sorting through all that, what are the parameters there? Like, do you need a certain amount of people to compete at first? And like, how does that work?
We need a certain amount of people, and we need to show that there is differences that are greater than what we can correct for by programming.
Okay.
So first is like you just have to have enough people. Like, we're not going to split a division and have like 3 people in each division. And then there's a lot of things we can correct for in programming. Like if you take like seated with hip or seated without hip, there's technically 2 classifications in there. Seated, we call it seated 1 low and seated 1 high. So if you have ab function, you'd be seated 1 low. If you don't have ab function, you're seated 1 high, and we can correct for that. With the data we've collected over the years, based on changing the weights up a little bit, maybe changing just changing minor things, and so that's something that unless there's a ton, we'd have to probably get to a couple thousand in that division before we split that one.
Yeah. The other thing too, I was wondering about, because I was watching through and there was a ton of scaling stuff that you did with cap, which was awesome. Like adjusting it for different, seated actually with the hip function and not stuff like that. So when you're going through and you're looking at the workouts and you're adjusting them for the adapted division there, like, do you have to have like a committee around? Do you have it dialed in now? Like, what does that process look like?
The committee is really just me and Chris Stoutenberg.
Perfect.
My wife Shannon helps out quite a bit with it to kind of make sure that they were not being assholes with the programming. but we've been collecting data since we started this stuff. Stouty's been collecting data since 2011, and then I jumped in 2014. And we've just been collecting a lot of data, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. We tested out a lot of stuff on ourselves. That probably wasn't the smartest, which is why you probably don't see it anymore. Stouty would usually just call me and be like, "Hey, I want you to test this movement and see if it's viable or not." And me being young and stupid, I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's go for it." So,
Dude, Susan, this gets super complicated. Kevin and I have a little bit of overlap. My wife was helping with some of the neurological stuff a couple years ago, and like, I mean, we would spend hours sometimes talking about like a methodology of how you could break up these divisions and classify people correctly. And it got super like we went about it 18 different ways. And I don't know if we ever found an answer. I don't think people give Kevin and your team enough credit for how hard it is to break up these divisions.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people think that we see the classification and I just go, I like this person, I'm gonna put them here. I don't like this person, I'm gonna put them there.
Popularity contest more than anything else.
I think a lot of people think that, but it's actually really in depth. We have a lot of luckily for us, me and Shannon have formed a lot of relationships with specialists, and so like we have a lot of specialists on teams from like neuro PTs, PTs, OTs, ATs, cardiothoracic surgeons, neurologists. Like we have a whole group of people that we can sit down and chat with and see if we're seeing the right thing. And the main thing is like we get medical documentation for all these athletes, and we also have to be able to visibly, if they claim something, it has to be, I wouldn't say visibly seen, but you have to see the effects of it. We have to be able to see like power output affected and all that other kind of stuff. We've run into doctors, and I think people think it's just like, well, you give us medical documentation and we're just going to take it. But I've run into doctors who have told me that, the seated athlete doesn't have hip function. I'm like, the dude's walking. How is he walking without hip function? You're an idiot. And
you wouldn't get it, Kevin. You don't have a PhD. You don't get
it. And so it's super in depth, and it takes a while for each athlete. Like we have a couple of different people review it every single time we get a new classification. So it's not just like one person deciding. And then if athletes appeal, which they can appeal their classification, we take it to a new set of classifiers and have them run through it without any of our notes and see what they come up with, and then compare notes and go from there.
Yeah. Like you were saying, Tyler, like it is. Yeah. And you really have to be able to know like the nuances of it. And then, like you said, there's like the weird, and I don't like to use the word like fair, right? But like you do have to find kind of a middle ground where you're like, hey, look, the answer we're giving here or the adjustment we're doing may not work for like everybody evenly across, but this is as close as we can get for it. And do you deal with a lot of like, do people come back at you and you're like, screw this, dude, you didn't make this for me at all, like you didn't even think about me? Like, are you managing that?
Yeah. My wife says I have a superpower where like if someone yells at me, I just don't care. I'll take. I love feedback, and I'll always take feedback and go through it because I think you can learn anything from anyone, and we can always make things better. But if you're just gonna scream at me because you think I'm wrong, but you don't have any evidence to support that, I just don't care.
You're just like, dude, okay, thank you for that, and it's just gonna roll right off my back.
Yeah, we've had so many people look at this. We have like the best people in the field of adaptive CrossFit looking at this stuff for us, and like we generally agree on a lot of this stuff. And so when one person's like, "You're wrong," I'm like, okay, yeah, great.
You guys must be more intimate or know your athletes better than probably any other organization that exists, because you have to review every single one of them.
Yep.
The time commitment there always baffles me.
Yeah, I mean, even if you take our video review process, we basically have 3 steps to it. So we have like a first level reviewer who looks at certain things. We have a second level reviewer who looks at range of motions or quality of reps and everything. And then it goes to me and Shannon review all the notes and all the video where they're marked to see if we agree with them, disagree with them. If it's the hard part is a lot of times, especially for people who aren't used to it, is telling like, hey, is this a lack of fitness or is this caused by impairment, which will kind of change the ruling sometimes. And so it's a lot of watching and a lot of you have to know them super well. So I mean, I can tell you like video review, just by me and Shannon is for one workout is about 40 to 50 hours of reviewing minimum.
Holy smokes. And you're just watching every single one of those videos.
I mean, yeah, we so luckily we have a great and a very big like review team who's been with us for the last couple of years, and they're awesome. And so they go through and watch all the videos, and they give us timestamps to watch, so we don't have to we don't run through and watch every second of every video. We watch the timestamps that they've marked, and then come to decisions from that.
Man, yeah, okay, that makes sense, because otherwise your whole entire life from the time you woke up till the time you went to bed would just be reviewing videos there. And so
Yeah,
what
it still kind of is.
and so when you get a timestamp or something like that, and something's like off with that, like how is that made? Like you just make the call, the buck stops with you, and then that it just is what it is. It's the no rep or it is the rep, and you just move forward.
We'll talk to the judges and see what they're seeing, and then me and Shannon will talk about it. And if we're really struggling with it, we may bring in one more specialist to be like, hey, do you think this is impairment, or is this fitness type of stuff? But yeah, the final decision, it usually ends up coming to me or Shannon.
Yeah. You guys review my stuff and just be like, no, it's close, but it's definitely just a lack of fitness we see in him. That's all. So it's in Vegas this year.
Vegas.
Man, that's awesome. And it's going there's also like a convention out there at the same time, no? There's something else that it's like kind of like an Arnold, and then it's inside of something else, or
yeah,
I have that wrong?
Yeah, so we're working with USA Masters Weightlifting. It's going to be a giant Masters and Adaptive Fitness Festival for 2 weeks out there, and we happen to be part of it, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. I want to play this real quickly. Tyler knows I don't have a second monitor because I forgot my cord, so we're flying blind here. But Kevin, this was from your Instagram. I think CrossFit maybe put this piece together, and I do believe it's you and Lisa Gall here. But I'm going to play this for the audience, and I got some questions for you, because there's something that you mentioned here that is incredible.
I would say that the goal is for CrossFit to be CrossFit, and these athletes to be a part of it, and know that there's no division between an elite athlete, an adaptive athlete, and to let them know that they're part of the community.
The real world application that CrossFit creates, the functionality that CrossFit creates in its athletes is, yeah, you can see it in everyday able-bodied athletes, but damn if it's not truly put on display by adaptive athletes. You're having people in wheelchairs do muscle ups and get up over curbs and lift 100 pounds overhead and do all these different kind of things. And that's great. But that means they get to be better fathers. They get to be better husbands. They get to be better wives and mothers and friends because they do this.
I would
stand by it.
Man, that when
it'd be great if you were like, you know what, I was wrong.
I know you had said something in there, like the point that you and Lisa drove both home when she was like, this is CrossFit, and you were like, hey man, this is the showcasing of what CrossFit could do for an individual isn't put on display anywhere else than in the adaptive division. And it hit me, and I was like, fuck, you are so right. Because if there's one thing that we talk about as CrossFitters, it's that, hey, if you come into this gym, you're going to have a certain amount of physical freedom that'll allow you to do stuff outside of these walls. And I think when I watched the Watchtower CrossFit videos for the affiliate video contest, and there was one little girl in there. I forget her name.
Lucy.
Yes, thank you. And there was a part of it where it looked like you were coaching her, and she had rolled over. It looked like a different set of plates that were there that they had to roll up and over and do some different stuff with. And she almost looked like she was going to get caught. Then she angled herself and just popped right up and over. And you kind of looked at this camera and gave this half smile. And when I watched that clip, and then I remembered that from the video, I was like, dude, that's it. This is for somebody who is as experienced, is in that adaptive vision, that has something that has happened, especially like Lucy, that comes in, they go into a CrossFit gym, and you are giving them hope that they're going to have a physical freedom again.
It's independence. And here's my big thing with this stuff. This is why I've hard charged the adaptive stuff so much. I've met so many people with disabilities that hide in their home. They're worried about what's going to happen in the real world. I'm not going to be able to do this. If this happens, I'm going to be stuck and all this kind of stuff. And that's to never leave your house because you're scared of that stuff is unacceptable to me. When there is a avenue and a route to create physical independence. And it's not their fault. They're not told about these things. Like, luckily I have a great relationship with the hospitals near me. And so a lot more people are getting introduced to this stuff straight out of the hospital, but we're one gym in one state. And I want to make it to where, all the rehab hospitals, regardless if it's spinal cord injury, brain injury, loss of limb, any of these things, they're like, this person needs CrossFit. That's what I want. And that's why I think the games are so important. I'm not super spun up on like, let's just compete to compete. No, I want people to compete, and I want to showcase these athletes because I want other people who see these impairments that are like theirs going, well, if they can do it, I can do it, and I can become a more independent human being.
I worked with an athlete in Alabama, Justin. It was like the first time I had worked with an adaptive athlete, and it was both physically and mentally. And he couldn't lunge. There was something about I don't know, neurologically things would fire.
Lunges are hard neurologically. They're very hard neurologically. Yeah. Like a lot of our athletes at our gym that have like brain injuries or some kind of neurological dysfunction, like lunging is a big deal, a huge deal.
He liked powerlifting. So I'd make him do like some conditioning stuff every now and again. But for the most part, like we were working on power lifts, and I was like, Justin, if you can't lunge, like your squats are going to be harder and your deadlifts are going to be harder. And that was how I motivated him. But I called him, he was a big Christian. And so I called him Moses Walks, because I would give him a PVC pipe and use it in the alternating hand. Right. And so over the course of about 6 months, we went from using the PVC pipe to him like using a hand on the, on the opposite leg to not using one at all. And then his mom came in without him one day and was like, he walks way different now. She was like, he walks more normal. And she was like, he used to get tired at work because he was struggling to walk normally, and he had to walk. He worked at Publix, and then after a while, like she was like, he'd come home and he wouldn't be tired as normal. And that like changed the game for me when I was like, oh, this is making a real impact on your life faster than I think I've ever seen it with a regular person.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we have those things all the time. Like we have a girl in the gym now that came in and like pressing a PVC up overhead while sitting down was really hard for her. And she just did half a wall walk last week, and she's only been coming for like 2 or 3 months.
Holy
from going to a PVC being heavy for her overhead and neurologically taxing to being able to flip upside down and do half a wall walk is like, it has changed the way she perceives herself and the way she perceives challenges in the real world. And that's, I mean, if that's not your goal as a CrossFit coach or a CrossFit gym, then I think you should probably get out.
Yeah, 100%. Well said. Very well said. The couple questions I have off of this. The first one though is, how can affiliate owners make themselves more open, accessible, or just kind of put the little beacon up of like, hey, like we're here and we want to help if whatever the situation is. Like how do we reach out? How do we make ourselves available?
I think the first part, I think the biggest barrier, and I've been doing a lot of this season specifically, I've had so many people reach out to me and be like, hey, we're working with our first adaptive athlete, what do we do? And I think the first barrier to entry is fear that you're going to hurt this person worse, fear that you're not going to know what you're doing, just overall fear. And I've said this for a decade now. If you've done your level 1 and you've done your level 2 or either one of those, you have every skill necessary to work with adaptive athletes. Now you may need to learn some specifics on their impairment, but that's everyone. Tell me a single person that's in your gym that you don't have to learn specifics on to learn how to coach them better. Tell me a single person that's coming to your gym that you haven't had to ask questions of like, okay, like how does this feel? Why are you moving this way? Like what's going on here, and make these connections and then try to progress them through, scaling for able body or adapting and scaling for adaptive athletes, to progress them to a point of independence. And it's no different. And I've had a lot of these calls and conversations with people that want to work with adaptive athletes. And once I kind of explain, where my brain goes for adapting, they're like, oh, that's what I do for my everyday athlete. I'm like,
it's just scaling.
They're athletes, man. We call it adapting because it's no longer scaling, because scaling implies that there's something you can build towards. But if for me, I'm not going to build towards a better squat. I've tried.
It's going great.
Yeah, the down is great. The up is really hard. But it's not scaling for me anymore, because I'm not scaling it back from something that someone else is doing. I'm adapting it because that's where my life is going to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the only main difference is just the psychology of what you call it.
The main fear. It's funny because I haven't thought about that since I left Alabama. That was my main. It was more fear than it was. Once I got started, I was like, do an assessment, figure out how he can and can't move. What does he want to do? He wants to do powerlifting. And then the rest of it for me was, can I get you to function in a normal capacity? He has everything. We just got to get shit firing the right way. Right. And if you look at it like that, what are they wanting to do? What can they do? What can't they do? And just go after that. It's just like every other athlete. And so, yeah, for apprehension, you're freaking yourself out more than you should be.
Well, I think the other half of it is that people are worried about being offensive and offending these athletes.
Yep.
But let's be honest, like, to progress, you have to be offensive. There is no way to progress in any field of life without risking offending somebody. It's just the way the world works. And so, like, if someone, and I talk to coaches all the time about this, and they're like, well, what if I say the wrong thing? I'm like, if you say the wrong thing and they don't politely like correct you, or like say, hey, I'd prefer this, and they just go off the handle and get pissed off and mad at you, that speaks more to how they feel about themselves than any question you could ever ask them. So if you're trying to be the most respectful you can be, and you're like, hey, I need to know this to make sure you're safe, or I need to know this so we can figure out how to progress this, and someone just loses it on you, the person's an asshole, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I was going to say, Justin would say more offensive shit about himself than I would ever utter.
The adaptive community has some of the darkest sense of humors I've ever been around, and I love it. I think it's hilarious.
Yes.
But I mean, in all honesty, like, having a disability doesn't preclude you from being a jerk. And if you're going to immediately leap towards being offended towards someone who's trying to help you, then you should really go talk to someone about why you don't like yourself, because that's the only reason I can think of why you would get super offended the first time. Now, if it's like a repeated habit, like you're like, hey, I really don't like that, that movement, or like the way you're phrasing this, can you please change it? And someone repetitively does it, then maybe that person's the jerk. Yeah. But like, if it's the first time and someone's trying to help you and be respectful and just asking questions and you get upset about it, that's on you.
Yeah. And I would say, like, you hit the nail on the head, Tyler, because, I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and recently, within the last year or so, we had a seated athlete that came in before she ended up actually moving. And it was funny because I was here with some of the other coaches. So she comes in, I'm like, what's up? Yeah, come on down, like, come on over. And I was like, come on down here, like, blah blah. And they're kind of like doing one of these, like, should we go over to the thing to meet her? And I'm like, no, she's coming into the gym to see what we like. We don't need to meet her. She's fine. And yeah, getting around that first initial of, like, it's almost like you want to have like kid gloves or something. And it was funny because as the other coaches were there, she's like, yeah, guys, it's fine. Like, just let me know. I'll tell you if I could do it. If I can't, and I'll tell you where I am on these things, and we'll build it together. Like, don't freak out, because like nobody wanted to present something that caused like too much of a challenge right away, because in our defense, like the way that we were thinking about it, like, we wanted to showcase, like, no, we need you here, like, this is going to be good for you. So it's like you try to, like, you're forming it around that, not to just essentially do something that's gonna scare them off. And there's a story, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was at Craig Howard's gym, CrossFit Dabble. I could be wrong, but they were saying that they had an adaptive athlete came in, a seated athlete, and the trainer basically was like, okay, get down off your chair. And they were like, what? And they were like, get down to the floor and get yourself back up. And it was a younger kid, maybe like teenager or 20s. And they got down to the floor and were struggling to get back up. And I guess like the mother ran over to go like help. And the trainer was like, no, get away, stop. And was like, get into the chair. And I guess it was crazy emotional. And everybody was sitting there just like, holy fuck, got back in his chair. And they're like, cool, we'll see you tomorrow. And he was like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. And it was like, boom.
That's the big one. I mean, especially if you're talking about like seated athletes, getting out of your chair and onto the floor and back in. It can be hard for a lot of people. Like a lot of people are like, I just don't ever leave my chair. My chair is attached to me. My chair is me. And I think one of the beautiful things that we can do through CrossFit is like, no, you can still move without it. The chair does not define the way you move, or the chair does not define who you are. It is a tool that you use to be mobile, but you should have other tools in the toolbox. At the first time, because you're going to fall out of your chair. I fall out of my chair all the time. It drives my wife crazy. She's like, you need to be more careful. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. So like I fall out all the time. And that was my big thing when I was leaving the rehab hospital, 11 plus years ago, was like, I'm not going to, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3" and 230 pounds. There's not going to be a lot of people around me that are going to be able to deadlift me into my chair.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be
And so-
self-reliant. Yeah.
And so I'm not going to sit there and wait for like 2 or 3 people as a grown man to pick me up and put me in my chair. I mean, that's even Lucy, like the girl in the video that we made, like that was my big thing. Like I work with her twice a week still. She's doing great. And my big thing for her is like, you're going to be a teenager. You're going into high school soon. Like you don't want to have mom come pick you up or mom come do these things for you. Let's make you independent. And dude, she's a hard charger. She's amazing, and she's super sassy, which is enjoyable. And she makes fun of me for being old all the time. So
yeah, I could tell, like, just in that little snippet that we were lucky to kind of have you guys share with us, you could definitely tell your relationship with her is like, it's like you push her a little bit and she probably gives it back to you. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's actually amazing because when you talk about like eliminating, I don't know, it just seems crazy impactful in someone's life to be able to feel like all their independence and their physical freedom got stripped away, and to roll into a CrossFit gym and literally like gain that back. I mean, it must just take this monkey off your back. And especially in the case of somebody like Lucy, who's going into high school, like, I mean, I was worried because like the way my clothes fit and the fact that I was an idiot and I would never make it to college. I couldn't imagine a thing of being like, okay, if I fall out of my chair, like, it's going to be some big scene and I'm going to have people over here and everything else, right? And in fact, nope, she showed up at Watchtower CrossFit, and she now knows she could probably get herself back up into there quicker than anybody even noticed she fell out of it, I'd imagine.
She's a monster. She's I don't know if it's just my natural aura, but we do a kids class on Saturdays, and we have a bunch of adaptive kids in that class that play sled hockey for the same team that I play for with the youth league. And all they want to do is bench press. It's hilarious. And I didn't ask them to bench press. I didn't start them bench pressing. They all just came in one day and they're like, we want to bench press. And I was like, I love you kids so much. And dude, Lucy's out benching the boys. I mean, she's, 11, 12 years old now, and benching 70 pounds, like solidly for a couple reps. Like she only weighs 100 pounds. So she's a monster.
That's amazing, dude. I'm so stoked. One more here, because I always Savon always has like a good question.
This one's really good.
Yeah, he said, did Kevin ever want to go the other way and hate CrossFit after his accident?
It had to happen once. Never
not
once.
For a single second. Not for a single second. I knew the second I woke up from my first surgery that God had me on this earth for a special purpose, and it was to help people with these injuries, and I was uniquely qualified because I've been coaching this stuff for so long to try to figure it out, and no one was really, there was only a few people doing it at that point in time, and I maybe rational or logical to a fault, but like it wasn't CrossFit that hurt me. It wasn't the movements that hurt me. It was an unsafe setup that hurt me. So yeah, I'm a little bit more militant about how we set things up at the gym and how we set things up on the competition floor. But not even for a second did I blame CrossFit or did I think that I wasn't going to go back to it. I mean, the stories that flow around Craig, and I can't say if they're true or not, is that I started sneaking out of Craig, like, 2 weeks after my accident to go back to the CrossFit gym because I didn't agree with what they were doing for fit, like the fit class and lifting. And I was like, this is not going to make me any better as a human being. And so maybe I did, maybe I didn't tell them I was going to lunch and just go to my gym and go work out.
That's awesome. Yeah. Like trying to like get everybody, okay, so we're gonna teach you how to like, live this life, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna roll out of here, go bench press at my gym, and then come back and do this other shit they're making me do.
how come Kevin's so sweaty every time he goes to lunch?
I got that question one time. I came back and my face was super red. I'm a ginger. It's always red. And they're like, why is your face so red? And I was like, spicy food. Don't worry about it.
Should just hit him with the like. I was just watching Cops before this.
That was just the best hamburger I've ever had in my entire life. Just
Jedediah Snelson, it's also a direct impact on gym owners in terms of working with able body injuries and impairments that has a direct impact on retention. That's 100% correct, because when you start
100%.
to expand your ability to adjust workouts so individuals could adapt to it, your knowledge base just starts to grow this much more because you have so much more creativity behind what you're adjusting live.
And I think the big thing with retention is like, you know, how many CrossFit gyms do we know? They're like, hey, I lost this member because they got injured and they didn't think they could work out.
Yep.
At Watchtower, that's not an excuse. Like, you can't come in and be like, hey, I broke my ankle, I can't work out anymore. I'm like, dude, I got an extra chair, let's run it. Like,
yeah, no excuses with you in the room.
Yeah. And so like the retention piece on people just, and it's not like a force thing, but people just seeing like, okay, even if I have an injury, there is a way for us to do this and I can stay moving and I don't have to hit that setback of like, oh, I injured my shoulder, not to stop everything. It's like, no, I injured my shoulder and we're going to take care of that, but we can still do other things. And there's other ways to adapt this and scale this. And it's a huge boon for, Jed's right. Like, it's a huge boon for affiliate owners.
Yeah.
Because not only do they get an increased knowledge base, it's a lot of fun to be super creative and try to figure this stuff out. Like, I think a lot of affiliate owners and coaches will get burnt out because they'll use the same scaling options all the time. And it's always this, and they know their members super well. And then you get adaptive athletes and it's always different. You always have to be creative, and it's a lot of freaking fun. And so like, I like talking to and get connected with affiliate owners all the time. And, you know, even in my role at CrossFit, like talking to affiliate owners, it always turns, you know, to adaptive stuff. And I want to teach everyone how to get them in their gym, because it's more adaptive athletes in your gym will only make your gym better.
Yep, 100%, 100%. And what it does for your community and everybody else around you too is something else.
And, you know, well, let's go outside the world of CrossFit. I mean, we already know that CrossFit has changed not only the fitness space, but also the world and their perception of what's humanly possible with these things. But I think one of the biggest things I see within our gym, because we don't run a special adaptive class. Our adaptive athletes work out with our able-bodied athletes. They're right alongside of each other. They're suffering together. They form this community. And the amount of times that I've heard people say things like, I forgot you were even in a wheelchair, or they start losing the perception of like, this is a disabled person. It's like, no, this is a person who happens to have a disability. And so it starts to normalize those relationships. And I think the bigger thing is, you know, we have able-bodied people who are more comfortable with this. Some say my members are a little too comfortable with wheelchair jokes. I say they're perfect. But on the other side of these things is like, there's a self-perception within the disabled community where they don't feel like they're still part of like society or humanity, and they see themselves as different or other. And it's just not true. You're just a person with different struggles, and everyone has struggles. And I think the coolest thing I've seen is that we have these adaptive athletes who now see themselves as, you know, for lack of a better way of saying it, but they see themselves as more human. They see themselves as like part of society again. They're not this separate community of people with disabilities. They're just part of the rest of the group. And it's really fun to see. It's really cool to see when someone, you know, finally flips that switch and makes that realization as someone with a disability himself.
I remember I was listening, I think it was Laird Hamilton's show back in the day. He was talking about raising his kids, and he was like, we don't talk to them like children, we talk to them like adults. And when I started coaching Justin, I realized that everybody it was like every way they interacted with him was padded gloves, and especially in the way that they spoke with him and interacted. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to speak to him as an adult. I'm going to speak to him as if I speak to everybody else. And I think he gravitated towards me because I was the only one who 100%. Did that. I didn't enable him in any way. I was like, no, you're going to play the world's game. The world, you have to. And I think a lot of people didn't want to offend him, and they wanted to help him out. And I'm like, no, you're actually hurting him. The world doesn't always bend to his needs, and he needs to be able, and he appreciated that more than anything.
Yeah. We get asked all the time. Like, we don't outside of like safety stuff, you like a lot of stuff from Equip products, like lap mats and wider ski erg bases and stuff like that. We don't have a lot of specialty equipment at the gym. And I get asked, like, Craig Hospital brings new patients over fairly regularly, and I'll get asked all the time, like, why don't you have specialty equipment? And I'm like, well, because specialty equipment makes it easier for them, and they're going to have to go out into a world that's not built for them. And why not have this beautifully safe environment where we can learn to navigate a world that's not built for us before it becomes a dangerous situation? I mean, if the first, like going back to getting back into your chair, if the first time you fall out of your chair is in the middle of a street, like that's a real dangerous situation if you don't have, a mode or method to get out of the street or back in your chair.
Yeah.
And we have this great opportunity within CrossFit gyms to teach people those modes and methods of moving and getting back into their chair so they're now safer human beings. And it's a beautiful thing.
It really is. And that's why when might have just also too, because it's a little late at night, but I watched that clip on that Instagram and the one that I showed, and I was just like, oh man, I'm fired up. Like this is 100% it. Like this is what we do as affiliate owners. Like if you don't hear that and you don't have somebody that walks into your gym that is thinking, man, this probably isn't for me, and who knows, maybe these people could help me, maybe they can't. And as a trainer or as an affiliate owner, that doesn't fire you up to like showcase exactly the skill set that you possess and what you could give to them, like then fucking leave. Like you said earlier, that fires me up.
I love the games. I love watching those super spun up athletes at, the able body games do things. It's really impressive. It's awesome. But I think the adaptive games is probably one of the most important things I could do for the affiliates.
I completely agree.
Because like what a better demonstration of the old phrase, like CrossFit works for everyone, but it's not for everyone. If you have a disability or anything, or overweight or trying to get healthy, like CrossFit will work for you, but also recognize that CrossFit's hard. There's no other way around it. If you don't think CrossFit's hard, you're probably not doing it right, and learning to do hard things in the gym affects everything outside the gym. And so CrossFit will work for everyone. And the adaptive games is a great example of that. But also watching it, I love when people are like, man, I don't know if I could do that. And I'm like, have you ever tried? Have you ever tried the hard thing?
Just plant that seed of what if you can do it? What if you did do it?
Yeah.
What if you were able to? Well, man, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed this conversation. I'm gonna reach back out because I want to really nerd out more, like get real specific about some of the stuff like inside the gym, because I think a really good show on like handling an adaptive athlete coming into the gym, like, hey, here's the way I roll it. Like, this is what I do. Like, this is what I suggest you guys do, and like getting real tactile on that. I'd love to continue that conversation.
Yeah, anytime. You guys just let me know.
Dude,
I'll talk about this stuff all day. Drives my wife crazy.
And where are we? We're gonna see you where? Wheelwad? Is it Wheelwad YouTube?
Yeah. Wheelwad YouTube channel. Broadcast starts at 2. The workout will probably be.
That's me. That's roll over there.
Roderick, we just talked about it. I can get back in my chair. It's not a big deal. You can push me out all you want.
It's all fun and games till you push him out of his chair.
I don't want to hurt him.
You don't want to hurt him.
Head on over and watch Kevin absolutely destroy Roderick. Meme for time. You guys probably know him on the internet. It's going to be an awesome show, and I look forward to watching it. Kevin, thank you so much for coming on. Please follow him and everything else they have going on. This season for the adaptive division is going to be amazing. It's out in Vegas, baby. Let's go. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Guys.
Boom. All right. We got my firefighters in the building too. I think we could see them. They're happy because it's an active recovery day today. We're gonna do some rolling out. Yeah, they got it. They tried to get it last week, and I was like, "Fuck you guys!" I told them, I was like, "It chaps my ass when you tell me that you need an active recovery day because of your ladder throwing and stuff." I was like, "I don't care about that." and then it was funny because then obviously with the show and stuff, and they're about 10 weeks in, so they definitely do for an active recovery kind of day where I take them through everything. And I was like, "Guess what? It's next Thursday because I'm doing a show in the other room." So you guys, they're last. They're like, "All right, cool." Dude, thank you. I know you got to run too. I really appreciate you jumping in and doing this with me. That was a lot of fun. I hope everybody listening got something out of that thing with Kevin. Like I could talk to him for all day. I didn't want to veer too much off the topic of the open and just generally catching up with him. But dude, we could dig into some training stuff with him that I think would be really great.
Yep. All right, dude.
Cool. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Yep. See you, dude.
Later. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out inside the gym. on location today at CFL. We got the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Academy that is in the room next door. I'm going to jump over and chat with them. We'll be back this afternoon with Shut Up and Scribble, Taylor versus CrossFit Open Workout 25.3. It's definitely not rowing, deadlifts, or wall walks. So we'll have to tune in to see what the workout is. And we'll be going live shortly after the athletes do it. And we'll watch Taylor give a whack at the workout later. I think probably this afternoon, maybe when Sevon gets back, we'll do a little show, check in with him. There is a town hall, an affiliate town hall meeting at 9:30 a.m. this morning. So after I coach these guys, and jump in and listen to that and maybe do a little debrief or something afterwards with Sevon. As always, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for the people that put in the super chat. Claude Zombie, Patrick Clark, Kenneth, Jan Clark. Become a CEO member. We're going to get a bunch of cool stuff out there. And if you're not, you're going to miss it. Promise it's going to be dope. And Sevon with last words. Subscribe now. CEO member. Do all the things. Natalie, thank you. Magdalene, thank you. I appreciate it. Why the fuck did you start an hour early? Dude, I'm going to go train the fire department. We already talked about that. I thought Dallin was coming on. He is. Just rewind it all the way back to the beginning of the show. We had him on for 20 minutes during breakfast. Behind the scenes, episode 123 now. Still up, maybe for a little bit longer. Go get it in. Alrighty, gang. Peace out. Be good to each other out there. Bye-bye.